is in North Carolina. We have 2 living members, well 3, because the third one is an African. He refuses to touch it because he has bad feelings about this country anyway. So it has a lot of tentacles out there as of things that could happen. I'm not protesting anymore. We're going to make this an international disgrace.
Absolutely.
That we would dare have a black mayor,
yes,
and
say
a predominantly city council,
say it,
and a governor who wants to run for presidency who was once the mayor, and we can have one living symbol of our contribution to the breaking down of segregation barriers in the city of Baltimore. We need to have it intact, not a wall.
That's right.
Let her go live in a wall. Even an Indian with a teepee's got 3 walls. We need to have a living symbol. We need to decide who designs it, not her and her friends.
Self-determination.
Those of us who fought for civil rights and are fighting for it now, we need to decide how it's designed and how it's used. She works for us. We don't work for her. We pay her salary. We elected her to office. She can't preach to us. She needs to go back to Nazi Germany and practice what Hitler did if she wants to control everything. This is the United States of America, the oldest city with the largest population of free blacks.
That's right.
We're not used to being controlled that way, and we are going to be controlled that way. And I don't care what she likes or dislikes. She is not going to get this off her back. We are going to take it internationally. If they're ready for that embarrassment, good luck.
I would say this. Let's put this in great perspective. This year, Black history is celebrating civil rights in America. That is this year's theme, civil rights in America. We know without a doubt that this location is a historic landmark. This is where the sit-in demonstration started by great leaders like Dr. Helena Hicks, who saw fit to say, no, we're not going to keep not being served in these locations. Now, after the location here, then other college students around the country followed suit. But it was Dr. Hicks and the students at Morgan that really started the sit-in demonstrations that took place in America. And all we're saying is that at some point, at some time, don't we recognize the leadership, the litigation, and the legislation that took place here in Baltimore? In Baltimore, there is no other city that when you look at civil rights, you look at litigation, legislation, and leaders, there is no city that is better than ours is what they contributed in the area of civil rights. All we're saying to the administration and to the mayor, don't bring people to us and they're going to try to interrupt our press conference. Tell the mayor, come talk with us.
Absolutely.
We live here in Baltimore City.
Absolutely.
We pay taxes here in Baltimore City. If the mayor wants to send her folks here, have them come talk to us. Not try to come here and interrupt our press conference. Have your own press conference, Madam Mayor. We're just saying the citizens of Baltimore have had enough. We need a location that recognizes and salutes the leaders that were civil rights leaders. We are second to none. We want it here, and we don't want to hear about who they pass this on to. If the mayor and her folks are serious, come meet with Dr. Hicks and let's sit down and talk about it.
What's on the handout that you were passing out?
On the handout that I passed out earlier, about 5 years ago, I created a document. It was called African American Sheroes and Heroes Born in Baltimore City. For the school system this year, since the theme is Civil Rights in America, I've created a little booklet that will show our students 20 African Americans, of course, one of the great leaders being Dr. Hicks. It will show them 20 African American sheroes and heroes that were instrumental in civil rights that were all born here in Baltimore City. There's no place that we can go right now and say this is a civil rights monument. Many cities across the country have monuments about civil rights. Why don't we have one? Because we have leaders like our mayor who don't want to talk to the people. Connect with us, Madam Mayor. Don't disconnect. We don't want to battle with you, but this should be a civil rights location because we don't have one in Baltimore. Let's sit down and talk, Madam Mayor.
Dr. Hicks, you also said this
laws in states like Pennsylvania and in other parts of the country in the South. This is nothing more than a continuation of a pattern and an attempt to destroy history so that our young people don't have the opportunity to educate themselves. When we look at Hollywood and we look at the movies, the only movies that get Grammy Awards are movies that show African Americans in subservient positions. But we're here today to stand up. That is why we're here today, to celebrate the legacy of a people who took a stand. We were not subservient. Not all African Americans were maids and butlers. Some of us were lawyers, some of us were doctors, some of us took courageous positions like Dr. Hicks. So we're here today to show our young people another side of our history. A side of our history that Hollywood does not want our young people to see. They don't want us to see us being in kings and queens. Africa wasn't just poverty-stricken. It wasn't poverty-stricken until the Europeans came and took all of the resources from Africa. We come from kings and queens, and we've got to celebrate our history. And the mayor should be concerned about that. The Congress should be concerned about that. We want this building to transform into a national monument so that we can house our history for the education of our children. We started student city.
Okay.
Well,
we can have a
why
conversation.
did the mayor send you?
Well, why are you yelling?
Because we want to know why you're here as opposed to the mayor. Why the mayor sent you here when she refused to meet with Dr. Hicks. Dr. Hicks was one of the original demonstrators. It is disrespectful for the mayor to send a henchman to do her job. We elected her to represent the interests of this city. She's being paid with the taxpayers' dollars. And so we're concerned about her lack of interest. And we're concerned about her lack of interest about confronting issues important to her constituency.
Because I'm not.
You're here today representing the mayor, so we need for you to go back to the mayor and tell her that we want the due diligence and the respect of a formal meeting to discuss this. We don't want to talk to a deputy mayor. We don't want to talk to a crony. We want to talk to a staffer. We want to talk to the mayor about preserving this monument the way that they did in Greensboro, North Carolina. Greensboro, North Carolina student synod took place in 1960. Ours took place in 1955. We started the student synod movement, and we want to have a discussion with her. It is disrespectful that we've not had an opportunity to talk with the civil rights community, and we want to know why she has not had an opportunity to talk with Dr. Hicks.
But I am not elected. You know what I'm saying?
You know you represent her.
I understand.
So
I
that's the conversation he want to get her. You standing in her spot, so you getting it.
But you know, I was contacted by them, so we cleaned down. Yeah.
But you know you.
Our concern is relevant.
Okay.
Our concern is relevant. It is very relevant to have, and it's logical to have a meeting. No, sister, it shouldn't just be my frustration. It should be your frustration as well as an African American woman. If you have children in this city, to protect the history so that our children will be able to see what people like Dr. Hicks have done. So we should be concerned about preserving our legacy and our history. See, that's what happened in Greensboro, North Carolina. They protected the history.
Dr. Hicks.